This unassigned energy is the first and most real state that the energy exists in. And that energy then gets channeled through thought. So this funnel is a funnel of thought. And once this energy is actually gone through the thought, it ends up in the feeling. And that feeling is whatever you are feeling based on the thought. I'm going to show you this really cool trick about how to understand the relationship between your head and your heart, so thoughts and emotions, that's actually going to shift the way you approach giving energy away in general. So it's actually got to do with how freely you're giving away energy and how to stop doing that and store it within you. And once that energy gets to the heart, the beat itself, the boom boom of the heart, the doof doof, whatever you want to call the sound that your heart would make when it beats, starts to send off a new frequency. And this frequency then gets sent through a broadcasting system to the whole universe and starts to attract certain things to that new frequency. It's kind of like a radio station. So when you tune it to a specific station, you will hear that station's broadcast. And that's what we attract. So I'm about to dive into these 5 steps that you can use to get your energy back. Whether it's stuck with an ex, or it's stuck in the past, or anxiety of the future. Wherever your energy is that you want to get back to you, I'm going to take you through these very specific steps in getting that energy back. But not only getting it back, these same steps are how you will keep your energy safe in the future. And number 3 is the most important, uploading GAFEP. Now I'm going to explain GAFEP to you in a lot more detail in a little bit, but that is the magical shift that you need to make that will stop your energy being wasted. It will stop your energy going anywhere other than where you actually want it to go. So now we're about to dive into how we actually do this, and I want to take you through something really important. When it comes to this system of we have a thought and that then leads to a feeling, and the energy then travels into that feeling, and that's what starts to create your reality through sending that signal to the universe. We have to make both of these parts conscious. If our thoughts are not conscious and our feelings are not conscious and neither of them are choices, that's when we start to distort our manifestation. That's when we start to ask things that we don't actually prefer to come into our space. And this is a shift that's going to show you how to take control and make these two conscious, and you'll stop wasting that energy. You'll stop having to need energy because it will all channel into your current state of being. As well as that, we don't start with the thought. And yes, in terms of where energy goes, it starts at thought, but we actually need to start at the feeling. Emotion is the cogwheel that turns thought, not the other way around. And that's what I'm going to dive into in a lot of detail once we get to point number 3. And that's what this whole system is going to help you do. So I hope that makes sense. Let's dive into the actual steps of how you get your energy back, how you manifest stronger energy, and how you can start living in your true, authentic space that you want to be in. So the first thing we definitely want to do is to stop the thoughts altogether. The thoughts are where the energy, as I said, is starting to be channeled through. And once we stop the thoughts, we can start to make other changes down the line that are going to help us change out of it. Now, one thing you could do is start looking at it as a production line. And by that I mean, we think about all of these pieces that need to be arranged and put together, and that would go on a conveyor belt and robots and machines would put it together. The first thing and the base of all of this is always going to be thought. Yes, we have to start with emotion within ourselves, but in terms of where energy goes and where energy flows, always starts in thought. Thought is the instruction to the energy saying, hey, go there or go there. The ultimate goal for energy is it wants to create. So if it's havoc that's going on in your head and that's where the thoughts are, that is the direction that energy is going to be sent. So we have to start at thought. The next thing you're going to want to do is to ask yourself how you feel. Now, the reason we want to almost take stock check of our emotional states is it's very often that when we ask ourselves after stopping thought, we will find the problematic feeling. Because if you're stuck in a whole bunch of thoughts on an unconscious level, let's assume it was based off of worry, and you're concerned about all these different worrisome thoughts, then what happens as soon as you go, hold on, stop thinking, and you go, what am I feeling? It will show you, I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm feeling worried about something, and you will then be able to adjust that feeling. Which leads me into the part that I'm most excited to share with you. It's a new way to perceive this information that I've never shared before, and I've never seen anyone else share it this way before either. Upload into your emotional state GAFEP. Now, GAFEP stands for these 6 important things you need to start implementing into your energy that will help you stay at a spiritual, energetic high. Now, it's important to think of these things in this way and to upload it after these 2 processes, because what starts to happen is we stop sending energy out and we send energy in. So the first thing we want to do is the G, which is gratitude. We hold on to a sense of gratitude. Next is acceptance. Then we have forgiveness, which is something we've got to do for ourselves. Then we have to bring in humility. It's no glory to us as humans, it's only glory to the universe. We instill some excitement, and that helps us get amped up about the future, and I'll show you a great way to do that. And lastly, a sense of peace with the way things are. I'm going to show you how to do this in a lot more detail. Gratitude is pretty simple. I'm sure that you understand the whole premise about being grateful for what you have, having a sense of appreciation for things the way they are. And to do this, we just need to count our blessings. Now, we hear this when we're growing up. If you were Christian, I'm sure you heard the song, "Count your many blessings, name them one by one." But that's exactly what you're going to do to instill gratitude. So go through 10 things in your mind that you are really, really grateful for, that you would not want any other way. And that's how you really instill the energy of gratitude. The next thing, once we've felt the sense of gratitude and appreciation, is we move to a level of acceptance. So it's kind of like, okay, things are not necessarily the way I want them to be. I don't feel like my pure energetic self, but it's okay. Everything is okay. And you have an acceptance with the things that aren't quite the way you want them to be. That level of acceptance is a lot easier after gratitude. So that's why they're listed in the order that they are, because that is the order we want to put them in. Then next is forgiveness. So once you've accepted that things aren't exactly the way you wanted them to be, you have a sense of forgiving the world for not giving it to you, but also forgiving yourself for not being the version of you that you ultimately want to be. And that sense of forgiveness helps relieve the pressure. It's not about being perfect because of things you have to make up for, and it's also not about holding yourself to the expectations of perfection. You forgive yourself for being human, for not being perfect, for having the ability to choose, and in so doing, you might have not made the right choices 100% of the time. And we say, okay, well, I forgive me for being human and making mistakes. And what that leads to is the H, which is that humility, to be humbled. And what it does to be humbled means it takes our sense of entitlement away. And this is why it's so important to do it in that way with the forgiveness as well. Because forgiveness also comes with a level of acceptance of fault. Now, it doesn't mean wrongdoing like you're the end of the world problem, but just in the sense of, oh, okay, I'm not perfect. And that in its own way makes you feel a sense of humility and makes you humble. And humble combined with that gratitude will only ramp up the feeling of gratitude. Once you've got that humility, you can be excited for what's to come because entitlement has fallen away. So we get into that excitement. And what I mean by that is we actually go and say, well, what am I excited about? I'm excited about my future. Today's like the first day of the rest of my life. And when you start to live in that energy, that is how you amp up the state you want to be in, using excitement. But it works great if you have a sense of humility and you've forgiven yourself and you have an acceptance and gratitude, because then you're excited for more of those feelings, more of that. And P is ultimately where it all leads. Peace. To have a sense of peace after you've decided to let go of everything that you don't identify with and you move your mindset out of that, what it starts to do is shift your perspective inward. So you're turning all of the energy jets that are sending energy to every anxious expectation of perfection, where the energy is going there, you're saying, no, turn it inward. And to do that, you follow GAFEP. Let me know if you like that concept and it being put that way in the comment section below. Were there any thoughts that came along with that? Did you sit and go, oh wait, I can actually use, I just want to hear your thoughts in that whole system of applying GAFEP. Chat to me in the comments. I will respond to each and every one of you. If we connect with those 6 things, what happens is our feelings start to make us feel good about ourselves. And that is the step we want to get into before we start allowing ourselves to think. Because thoughts are part of the system, but they're actually a result of the feeling. And too often we get stuck in the ego way of doing things, which is basically going into thought and that changing the feeling. Now I'm going to give you a good story to understand how inefficient that is. If you think about driving your car and you're doing 100 miles an hour, you're not sitting in first gear. If you were sitting in first gear at 100 miles an hour, the car would be, it would be overdriving the transmission, which is not used for speed. It is used for acceleration. So it's the same sort of thing you want to think about when you're thinking of thought and emotion first. When it comes to feeling, that should be the primary goal. And when you are conscious, it works this way. So you become conscious by uploading these intentional emotions into your state of being, and we allow that to then consciously and intentionally create thoughts. If the thoughts are based on these emotions, the energy is not going to be diverted to other people. If your thought is on someone else, all that energy then goes to them. It starts to send it into a feeling and that broadcasts to them. And they get a nice upload of good energy that you've given away for free. These things help you get into the present moment. And if presence is what's so important, then that's what amps up consciousness. And if you're conscious and present of the moment, the energy gets diverted into now, not into tomorrow, into the anxiety of next week, or into the past that you wish you could change. It comes into this moment. And that is where your energy will grow. And it takes gaff hep to do that. And that leads me on to step number 4, which is to stay present. So you stay in that present energy. You stay in that point of, okay, I'm here and now, and I'm not worried about anything because I have gaff hep that's making me conscious of this moment. The energy starts to build up and ram up in that energy. It starts to get stronger where you are in the time that you're actually there. Instead of different timeline being past and future and stuff in your mind, and it comes to this moment, which is all that actually exists. So no energy will be wasted if it's diverted into the present moment. So you stay present once you get there. And the last thing we want to do is become creative about something we want. Now what this does is it starts to send some energy into the future version of us. Not enough to pull you out of presence. I don't mean you must sit and daydream. Just have a creative thought that's linked to part of the future you want to experience. And the reason excitement is so important in gaff hep is because this is what inspires the creative thought about tomorrow. So that creative thought starts to build energy and divert it back to the current moment to help you rise to the frequency you need to be to attract that future to yourself. I hope this video has excited you. I hope it's cleared some things up for you on how you actually get your energy back into your current state of being step by step. I hope to catch you on my next video. Thanks for watching to this point. Mad love and light.